Welcome to the Mom Owned and Operated podcast, the podcast about moms and for moms, where we have candid conversations about running a business, raising a family, and remembering ourselves. I'm your host, Rita Suzanne, a single mom of four, digital strategist, and provider of no-nonsense business strategies and tactics. Hi, this is Rita Suzanne, and this is Mom Owned and Operated. Today I have my friend Stefanie with me, and I am so excited to hear all about all the things, Stefanie. So please tell us more about you, your business, and your family.
Yes. Hi, I'm so glad to be here with your community. Thank you for having me on here, Rita. So as Rita mentioned, I am Stefanie. I am a mindset coach and I support working moms to rediscover their identity and do something for themselves, for their future, basically, go for their dreams, go for their goals. So I hold a space for them to do that and I absolutely love it. Love it.
Oh, I love that. I love that because it's so needed.
Yes, because, especially I'm sure, as a mom, we get so busy with just mommyhood that we don't create that space to really think about what we want for ourselves or how to dream, should I even say.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I feel like, okay, so how many children do you have and where are you located and all of that?
Yes, I have two boys, age 5 and an 11-month-old.
Oh my goodness.
So 2 young kids. I'm married. Been married for 6 years. I'm about to say 5 years, 6 years. And I'm based in the UK. So I was born in the UK. For the first 5 years of my life, I actually lived in Nigeria.
Nice.
And then came back to the UK. So I class myself as a Nigerian and British.
Right.
So I've been in the UK for almost all my life, basically now.
And obviously you love it or you wouldn't be there, right?
Yeah, I love it, just apart from the weather, but then that's why I have Nigeria there to I go back at least once a year to just get that sun. That I don't
just
get.
Reconnect, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Oh, oh my gosh, that would be amazing to be able to go there. Okay, so let me ask you then, before you started being a coach, what were you doing before then?
Yeah. So before that, I was in finance. Technically, I'm still in finance because I'm on maternity leave.
Okay.
And by law, I have to go back for 3 months.
Really?
Yes. So when they give you, depending on the company you work for, if you take a full maternity package, then there's usually a clause that you have to come back for 3 months or pay back 3 months worth of salary.
Oh, okay. So they give you like how much time, like a year off or?
They give us a year off. So I took the whole year off.
Yeah.
For my first son, I only took off 5 months. And I said, no, this time around, I want to take the whole year off and just focus on me, use the time to also focus on me. So I've been working in finance for over 10 years now. And
it's such a contrast though, finance and then, the coaching and you're working with working moms, right? Or is it entrepreneur moms?
Working moms, so corporate moms.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So basically like how I've transitioned from being a corporate mom into an entrepreneur. So helping them make that transition also and see, it's totally worth it.
Right. And
it will totally help you create more time, work on your own schedule, not have to, request annual leave from your boss because you need to attend your son's play or something.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or like take him to the doctor. Oh my gosh. I remember when I worked in corporate and I was just, was planning my escape. Like, I was just like, how am I going to do this? It was almost as if like, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I really didn't know what I wanted to be. But as soon as I had my first son, I was like, I have to find
a way to be with them, you know, because I would drop him off and I would just cry. I was like, oh, I need to be with my baby. And I only got 3 months off for maternity leave. So like our maternity leave here is not as nice as it is there.
Oh my goodness. And the funny thing is, over here in the UK, if you were to come back from maternity leave after 3 months, you have people looking down on you like
what a bad mom, right?
Exactly.
And then after I had my second son, no, I left my job and I stayed off for a year and a half. So I was able to spend time with them. But, you know, it's like, I didn't want to go back to work. So I'm glad that there's people, you know, coaches like you who are able to help people or moms to really find that transition of it, you know, whether they want to stay in corporate or not. You know, not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur.
Yes, exactly. That's true. So not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. So it's not something that, especially with me, it's not something that I force on saying, oh, you need to leave your 9 to 5. Like you need to want it for yourself. Because I remember, I'll tell you a funny thing. After I had my first son, I remember I kept saying, I can't wait to be pregnant with my second child because I can finally leave this job.
Right.
I was literally just waiting for the moment to be pregnant, just to have a whole year off work and then say to them, okay, I'll come back for 3 months and I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, so then as soon as you come back you have to do your 3 months. And is that like you tying up like all the loose ends and then you can leave without any constraints or anything?
No constraints, nothing basically.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's in the plan. I'm really looking forward to it.
Right. And I know your little ones are there, so don't worry about anything. But okay, so besides the corporate, so what is your biggest challenge being a mom and doing all of the things that you're doing? Like, I know you're off of your finance job, but you're still finding clients and being a coach. So is it hard to juggle things?
Initially, when I first started, my first son was in school. Sorry. I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay.
When I first started, I actually thought it was my first son. It was the 11-month-old that's tapping on the door. He's in
there banging the blocks and you're like, stop it. And he's like, no.
I'm so sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay.
I mean, we're all moms. Like this is real life, right? This is not like,
exactly.
You know, facade and I'm not cutting it out. So don't worry.
As I was saying, so when I remember when I first started my business, my first son was at school. So, and my baby was still a baby. So he slept lots of nap times. Right. So I could work around his nap times. I could book meetings because I knew the times he was going to sleep. Once he's been fed, fine, do my live videos. But as he's growing now, doesn't have as much nap times, and then obviously COVID started. My first son is now at home. I'm homeschooling, and to be honest with you, it was a big challenge. It was a big challenge, and even though my husband's at home as well, like he's working, so I can't say, okay, you know, you have the kids for this amount of time. So he tried to help as best as he could, but it was such a challenge because I still had calls like with clients that I had at the time. And then I had to homeschool as well. So I wasn't for me, I felt I wasn't as productive as I would like to be. I was just working in pockets of time. So it was taking me longer to get things done. But as time has gone on, I've learned to adjust to it, have to wake up early in the morning or work really late at night to get like my core tasks done. And then with clients, I obviously explain to them I do have young kids. And luckily I've been blessed. Like the clients I've had so far, they're really understanding.
Oh, they're moms, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if I have to like stop to like feed my son, or I try to do it when my husband's at home as well. So I can say, you know, I've got a call for an hour, 30 minutes, just watch the kids kind of thing. But yeah, it's definitely a struggle, and it's just finding times for you to work. Like I said, I work late at night sometimes because I know during the day I'm with the kids.
Right. That's the way I feel. I mean, my kids are older. You know, I have 4 kids, and 10, 11, 12, 13 right now. And they still, you know, it doesn't get any better as they get older, right? Like it still takes me a long time if I'm trying to work while they're here, there's so many interruptions and so many things for me to get up and have to do, or mediate or cook or do, you know, all of the things. And it takes so much longer. And I try to tell them, like, listen, if you just let me focus on this, I'll be done so much faster. Exactly. And they can't. It's like they can't, you know, it's like, no, you know, they want to interrupt me 5 times, and then it takes me 5 times as long, because you have to get back into the flow of everything. And, you know, that's the challenge, is, you know, finding that to like that vibe. But like I'm saying, it doesn't get any easier at all, unfortunately. Sorry.
It's like, it doesn't get any easier, but at the same time, it's just knowing that, you know, you can still do what you want to do. You're still going to have those interruptions. The kids are still going to be there. There's no one that's going to teach you how to stop your kids interrupting you.
Right. Because they won't, you know, like I remember my kids, I would be so self-conscious about being on video, and I was in front of a group and teaching a class, and all of a sudden, and my boys were in the other room, and I was single, and they came running in behind me, and they're like dancing and doing all this thing, and I just had to laugh it off. I couldn't do anything else except for laugh it off. And since then, I've just given up trying to, you know, control it. Because
exactly. I think for me, that's the benefit as well, working in the mum environment. I'm like, okay, I'm sure you can understand, you know, what's going on. But obviously I try to minimize their interruptions as much as possible, because at the end of the day, do a business. right, because you still want to project like being, you know, professional, and still like giving your clients the attention that they need without it being like, oh, sorry, you know, all the things. And so, okay, my whole purpose with this Mom Owned and Operated is to really figure out how other moms are running a business and raising a family, but also how are you remembering yourself? Like that's the biggest thing I think that gets lost once we're doing these 2 big things. Yes. So for me, what I currently do, I actually schedule a day. So I have Thursdays, I call it self-care day. I have it in my diary, because the way I work, anything I have in my diary, I know I'm going to get it done.
Right.
So I have it in my diary that says self-care day, and I just use it as a time for me, basically. It might just be just sitting down on the bed for like half an hour. It's still something
right
by myself, you know, or, you know, not really focusing on work. Just use it. If I need to do work, it's fine, but it's a day for me, basically. So I use it those days to reflect on, you know, where sometimes where I am. Sometimes I use it to just do journaling. Sometimes I use it to watch trash TV, you know, whatever I feel like that day, you know. I don't feel pressured. Oh my gosh, you know, I have this client today. I need to do this client work today.
Which is really, I mean, I think that that's so important, because it's easy to get caught up in your client's needs and forget your own needs. And that's where, you know, the stress and the burnout can kind of, you know, come into play when you're doing all of these things. And that's why I said I wanted to start this whole thing, was because I want people to be real honest and candid about how challenging it is to do all of these things, but it's also so rewarding at the same time. So I don't want to discourage anybody from being, you know, an entrepreneur mom. What I want is for us to just be real honest about it. It's not what you think it is.
Very true, because you know what we see out there, you know, we see people's well packaged, you know, social media profile looking like perfect parents. Yeah. And you're just thinking, how on earth did they manage to do this? I can't even like drink a cup of tea without it getting cold.
Right, exactly. I have to warm it up like 5 times before we even get there.
So I really love the idea to let people, especially moms, see that it's completely normal to have the chaos behind you.
Right. But we only want to showcase the idea of, perfection, which is, it's unrealistic to expect that it's going to be perfect, but
so unrealistic. So you're just setting yourself up for failure, because you might say, okay, you know what? Yep, I want to go on this entrepreneurial journey. Let me do it. And then you start it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is not what I expected.
Right. So if you knew, like, if another mom came to you and she wanted to start her business, like, what would be your advice to her so that she would, like, clearly and really understand what it's like?
I would say to her, go for it. Like, don't worry about your circumstances right now. Like, don't worry about where are you going to find the time to do this, to do that. Just do it. Just start with doing something. And as you go along, you'll start to figure out what works for you, What times in the day can you work? And like, don't feel like you have to spend the whole day working on your business. I think that's a common misconception that, I have to work like 5 hours a day on my business for it to be successful. You can work 1 hour a day, as long as it's like intent, that 1 hour, you're dedicated, being intentional, it's enough. Sometimes it's even better than working 5 hours and you're spending 2 hours procrastinating.
I know, because that's part of your self-care, right? Because you're like, I don't feel, and I think a lot of times it's, unfortunately, the hustle mentality is like really has been drilled into people, where they think, oh, well, if I'm not working on my business, then maybe I don't love it, or, and maybe it's not for me, or, when that's not even the case. Maybe you're not motivated because you're burnt out. And, so because of that, like, how are you coaching, like, other moms so that they can really do all of these things and take time for themselves?
So what I like to say is, like, prioritize what exactly is it that you want to achieve. Let's start working on little bits at a time. Let's get clear on exactly what do you want to do, what do you love doing, what do you enjoy the most. It's really important you do something that you enjoy as well, and you're not doing it because you're seeing other people doing it, or you're seeing other people making money from it. It's like, what do you really enjoy the most?
Or assuming that they're making money off of it, right?
I love that. So just, getting clear, and also why do you want to do it? Because when you have that reason, then you're motivated to find time in the day to do this.
Right.
And there are going to be activities, that's not fun. Let's be real. But because you know what your end goal is, you'll find a way to do it.
Right.
Find a way to do it. And, look at tasks that you don't really need to do. Especially when you're new into business. You want to do this, you want to try this, you want to try this strategy. And what I'm there is to tell you, you know what, you don't need to do everything at the same time. Let's pick one. Let's focus on that, and be realistic about how much time you can actually dedicate a day.
Right.
So I want you to tell me, okay, Stefanie, you know what? To be honest with you, I can only do 2 hours a day. And I'm not going to say to you, no, no, Rita, you need to do 5 hours a day. Let's work with those 2 hours. So that is ways that can help you prevent yourself from being burnt out, from being overwhelmed as well. Because, I've been through it, so I can share with you my experience, so that you don't make mistakes that maybe myself or like other people I've worked with have made as well.
Yeah, because I think that a lot of times I feel like I'm more productive if I'm only taking those 2-3 hours of focus time versus the 8 hours of, again, interruptions. And then that's when I'm feeling burnt out. And I always make sure that I take off the weekends, because if I don't,
100%.
But when I first started, I just was working like crazy. I was like, I get up out of bed, but a mess, like walking around crazy. And, I literally would just roll out of bed, turn on my computer. I was so obsessed with it. But now I'm at the point where I've set boundaries for myself where I don't have my email on my phone. I don't, I have different days for different things, and that helps me to stay on task, because otherwise I'm just like a workaholic. I will just get in there and work, and sometimes, like you said, it's busy work,
Exactly. I love the fact that you mentioned, setting boundaries, because that's something like halfway down the line of starting my business, I had to really sit down and say, you know what, Stefanie, waking up early in the morning, the first thing you're doing is to go on your phone, check if you've got any emails, go on social media, whatever, or wake up in the middle of the night, go on my phone again. I was just like, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I had to set boundaries as well myself to say, okay, these are the times I'm going to work. I actually had to turn off all notifications on my phone for my social media, for my emails. Even till now, I literally have to go into my email to say, okay, I've got an email. And like my Instagram or my Facebook, I have to go into them to be, I have notifications, rather than before, oh, I've got notification. Oh, it was so
and it's so you're so reactive, right? You're like just like, and then like, let's say that you do wake up and everything is going great, and then somebody sends you an email, and it can just change the whole mood of your entire day, and just really takes away from your overall, I guess, feeling good about everything. Yeah.
So true.
So, so then what are your top tips for helping someone maintain like a healthier mindset? Because that's what we all need.
Yeah. So number one, I think we've touched on that already, is setting boundaries with people around you. Especially when you are starting to make a transition, there are going to be people that don't support you, that are not used to this transition that you're about to make. So you need to protect your energy.
Right.
Otherwise, that's where your self-doubt is going to creep in. You are going to open the doors to all your negative thoughts, because, this person is telling you what makes you think, this. Right.
You start questioning. Right.
Exactly. So when you set those boundaries that, I'm not going to discuss my business with certain people, then, you're not opening the door for them to give their feedback, because you don't need it.
Right. No, I agree with that, because I can't even tell you how many people, my mom, my mother, my ex-mother-in-law, my ex-husband, both of my ex-husbands, you should just go get a regular job, because they don't understand the work that is involved with being an entrepreneur, And so if I'm just talking to you and I'm, saying, what should I do about this? Like that, you shouldn't, bounce any ideas off with them, because they are not really in the same mindset as you. And they're just going to tell you, look, this sounds hard. You need to just walk away,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because in their mind, they're like, they want to help you be, I guess, better by getting that job. And you're like, well, wait a minute, I don't want that job. I want to do these things instead.
Because they see it as the easier way,
right.
Just get
the security, right. The
Exactly.
security and all of that stuff. But we're like, I guess living on the edge. We want that up and down, right?
Exactly. It's a ride. It's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. So tell us just a little bit about like, what is your, like a typical day for you?
Typical day for me right now is, the night before, go into my diary and, look at what I have planned for the next day, basically.
Right.
And then in the mornings, it's usually getting ready for getting his school stuff ready, blah, 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 whatever he needs to do with school. And the Monday to Wednesdays, my husband helps out with his homeschooling. So from about 10 o'clock, that's when I start looking at my emails. Yeah. I usually don't have any calls booked until after 1 p.m. my time.
Yeah.
So I have the mornings just to get everything ready that I need to do, read any emails, respond to any correspondence, read through any client work that I need to read through.
Right.
And then in the afternoon, if I have clients, I will have my coaching calls. If I don't have clients, then it's usually like networking calls, like coffee chats.
Right.
Or, doing like sales or marketing activities. Depending on the day of the week, I have different things for different days, like you as well.
Yeah. I mean, it works better, right?
Yeah. And then we have, lunchtime, sort the kids out once again.
Mm-hmm.
I have a break for myself.
Yeah.
Then client work. And I usually start winding down, to be honest, about 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have late calls for like my American clients.
Right.
8 p.m. where my kids are asleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of do my schedule around them.
Everybody else. Right. And your clients and who you can connect with and stuff too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Especially like you said, if they're in a different time zone, that can sometimes be a challenge.
Yes. So, so that's usually what my typical work day is like.
Mm-hmm.
Not too hectic, and usually around, what I have going on with the kids and my clients as well, their needs. So, and I also try to have all my clients' calls on one day, so that I don't have to spread myself thin every day. I think I've got calls and I have to worry about childcare and all that. So at least I know, this day is dedicated to calls.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And
I do the same thing. I do that because I used to make myself more available. But when I have, like, let's say that I have 2 or 3 calls that day, like I'm pretty outgoing, but, and extroverted. But then once I have like all these calls, I feel so drained. Like I feel unproductive after, like I can't do anything. So that's why I've really just blocked off Thursdays as my day for all my calls. And, everything else will, and they're leaking over into Fridays now, but it's not, and that's okay, because Friday, the weekend, and then I get some time off.
Exactly.
And I like to do a thing where at the end of the month, I don't do any calls at all. Okay. So the last week of the month, I don't do any calls, just to allow myself to, I guess, catch up on things and, to kind of recuperate from all of that stuff. Like, it's just, I think that as you mentioned, like, as you get into your business, you really just find out what's going to work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because like over summer, when my kids aren't in school, my business is so different. It's completely different. I try to work as hard as I can during the school year, which, this year has obviously been a challenge. Yeah. But, I try to, and then on the summer, it's just way more lax, because we're outside and we're going places and we're doing things. So I think, it's just really about finding that in, that balance, I guess. But exactly. How much I hate to say that. But
I know. There's no such thing as balance. It's just finding out what works for you. I think that's what it is.
Right. Because I used to work just nonstop, and then it would be like a random Tuesday and I'm laying on the couch watching TV. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I have a call later, So, I think it's just really about finding what works for you and just being realistic about what's involved with your business, because it's not just about the service that you have, right? Like you mentioned, it's about networking. I have to do all these things. I have to meet. Yeah. And a lot of times that's the hard part,
it is. It's not a lot of time. That is the hard part.
Yeah.
For me anyways, that's the hard part.
Yeah, because that's not the thing. Like I started this business so that I could do this. I didn't know that I had to do all these other things too. Exactly. Yeah. So if someone wants to find you online, where can they find you, and what's, where are you hanging out?
I'm on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, Stefanie Gabriella Coaching. I am on there. I do also have a Facebook group where, I'm creating a community of moms. Mm-hmm. So it's actually called Confident Female Bosses. Nice. But most of the time, you can find me on Instagram, shoot me a DM. Mm-hmm. And I always love meeting other moms, even moms in business. I love networking as well.
Right, right. So I love that you're spending time even, doing the coffee chats and stuff. Those can be, so nice. And it's so fun to connect with other moms, which I think was my intention with starting this, was so that I could connect with other moms, because I have single friends who are entrepreneurs as well. And, I think that I love them and everything, but they don't really understand what it's like, how we're juggling all of these things. They're just like, oh yeah, I just spent 6 hours sitting down and doing my thing. And I'm just like, damn, that must be nice.
Really nice.
Yeah.
I feel as mompreneurs, we're always on the go. There's always something going on.
Yeah, exactly. And if we're lucky enough to get 2 hours of uninterrupted work time, then we just make the best of it, right?
Exactly.
Well, Stefanie, it's been so nice meeting you, and I'm so glad that you could take some time out and chat with us and tell us all about you and your business.
My absolute pleasure. It's been so nice talking with you as well. Like, really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you again.
And there you have it. I want to encourage you to remember that being a mom who runs her own business is not easy. We all struggle, but just keep moving forward and don't forget to make time for yourself. As moms, we are usually the first thing to go to the bottom of the list. If your business is overwhelming you and you need real solutions, not just some sugar-coated suggestions, apply to work with me at ritasuzanne.com/apply.